As always, if you want to watch our full video, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel at RotoBeast. And if you want to play the actual lineups that we're playing, please visit our website at www.rotobeast.net. Alright, so we got an ugly 4-game slate. We're not going to worry about this early game. It's only one game. We're not going to have the lineups out yet. We're going to focus on the 4 later games. We'll start with the nicest game on slate, in my opinion, is going to be the Golden State Warriors against the Denver Nuggets at Denver. Usually I would say, oh yeah, this is for sure going to be a blowout. But the thing about it is when teams go into Denver in all sports, pretty much they struggle with the altitude. The Nuggets players are used to it, so I could definitely, see this game not being very close, but somewhat close. It has the highest implied total on the slate by far at a 230.5 total. Golden State is favored by 9.5, so Vegas definitely thinks that they are gonna, blow them out. The next game on the slate that we like is Dallas versus Minnesota. It has the second highest implied total at 214.5. The only problem with this one is Minnesota is favored by 13.5, so this game could definitely turn into a blowout quickly. Then we got the Pelicans at Chicago, a depleted Chicago team. It has the third highest total on the slate at a 200.5 implied total. New Orleans favored by 6.5. And what I personally think is probably the ugliest game on the slate, it's going to be the Sacramento at Detroit Pistons. This has the lowest total on the slate at 196.5, and Detroit favored by 9. So let's just kind of jump into the picks, my top picks at each position. The video is going to be a little bit shorter today just because there's only 4 games. But obviously I think Steph Curry is going to be the top play. The guy's just been good, and his price is not moving up, and I don't understand why. I mean, at 9.2, we need what? 40, pretty much about 47 to hit value. And I mean, he's been pretty much around that mark, every single game. 44, 54, 44, 42, 52, 49, 46, 43. So even if he got me the lowest total of 42 on a 9.2 salary, I would be happy with that. In a fast-paced game against Denver, I think he's by far the best point guard, and I'm going to honestly have to say he's probably a must-start. We'll just add him to the lineup now. Next, we'll talk about Jrue Holiday going against Chicago. They're depleted. I think the Pelicans are going to win this game for sure. Jrue Holiday, I mean, the guy's been good. He's getting massive minutes, 38 minutes, 38 minutes, 34 minutes, 36 minutes, 40, 35, 38, 38, 34. He's getting the minutes. Plain simple, in fantasy, minutes equal production. At a 7.2 salary, we need about 36, and he's been right around that mark in almost every game. In the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he's been around 36 every time, but this one time 27 versus Minnesota. But he's still got 38 minutes, so we'll take that for sure. I think he's the second best point guard tomorrow. And the last point guard, I'll give you a value guy. This guy, Jamal Murray, in a fast-paced game against the Warriors. He's been up and down. Don't get me wrong. He has been up and down, but, he has a lot of upside. He has really, really good scoring potential. In these games, even if he's playing only 20 to 25 minutes and 21 minutes versus Toronto, a pretty good team, 28 points, played 32 minutes and 31 minutes, 28 and 39. He had a dud, came back with 33 minutes, 29 points. With only 4 games, and 2 of the games pretty much are super ugly, and I really don't want to pick no teams. We got to kind of find players to fill spots, and I like Jamal Murray tomorrow. Next, we'll move on to shooting guard. I think it's clear the top shooting guard is going to be Klay Thompson going against Denver in the fast-paced game. Klay, we know what he does. At a 6.9 salary, we need about 34 points from him. And I think it's safe to say if this game stays anything relatively close, he'll get there. He'll get very close to it. He's been very good. 36 points, 27, 33, 30, 41, 32. So like I said, you get the point. If it stays close, I think he's going to be the top shooting guard on the slate tomorrow. Next, we'll talk about Andrew Wiggins. His team is favored massively, so you got to be worried a little bit about the blowout. But if you think it can stay somewhat close, and he's going to get these massive minutes that he's been getting, 35, 36, 40, 37, he's going to put up the points that we need, 25, 35, 27, 27. He had a dud against Indy. Before that, he put up 46 points. At his 6.5K salary, we need about 32 points from him, and I could definitely see him getting that if the game stays anywhere somewhat close. Next, we'll save a little bit of money. We'll talk about Avery Bradley. I think a good strategy for tomorrow is going to be to kind of go balanced. And Avery Bradley been good. Plain and simple. 37 fantasy points in 34 minutes. The one game he did bad, 14 points against the Lakers, which was, a really, really good matchup. He busted. I had him this day, unfortunately, but I'm going to go right back to the well. Against Golden State the time before, he played 35 minutes, scored 23 points, got 33 fantasy points. 31, 32. I think he's a great play tomorrow. For his price, we're looking about 27.5 from value, and I could definitely see him getting there tomorrow against a Sacramento team who's just not very good. And a guy I like on the little bit more value side of things is Etuan Moore for the New Orleans Pelicans. He's been good. He hasn't been great, but for his price tag, we need pretty much 22.5 points, and he's been right around that mark. He's playing a lot of minutes. He kind of busted a little bit. His shots weren't going down. Against the Mavericks, he got 14, but before that, 21, 26, 27. Even a 17 on a 4.4 isn't going to crush us. Obviously, we do want more, but I think he's a solid play. Before that, 21, 20. So I like him on the cheaper end tomorrow at shooting guard. Next, we'll move on to small forward. Kevin Durant's going to be the top option. I love the Warriors. The guy gets his. Plain and simple. The only thing at a 10K mark, if this game turns into a blowout, I don't know if he's going to fully be able to get there, but I think he's going to be chalk, and I think he is a relatively safe play. Kevin Durant's going to for sure be this top small forward. Next, we'll go to Jimmy Butler, 8.3K. A fair price. We need about 40 from him. He's going against the Mavericks. They're not a very good team. The thing that scares me about him and his price tag is we need about 43 from him for value, somewhere right around there. And he hasn't hit 43 at all. Plain and simple, he hasn't got there. And, even if he gets me, say, 37 to 40, I'll take that from him. But I just don't know if he can really get there on his price. The thing about it is it's a small slate, so he could be chalk. Another thing that kind of worries me about him a little bit as well is this game is projected to be a blowout as they're favored by 13.5. So the price scares me a little bit, but he is a solid option. Next, we'll talk about Harrison Barnes, 2,200 less, right in the mid-range. I talked about him in our last night's video, and he went off for 42. And I told you guys, and Harrison Barnes is good. He's a good player. At 6.1K, we need about 32 from him, and I feel pretty good about him getting me 32 tomorrow. He's been right around that mark. He's 42 today, 26. He had a dud against Utah, 31, 35, 26, 28. So I think he's a solid cash game play on this small slate. And then we'll talk about a guy on the cheaper end, going against the Warriors. Wilson Chandler, as long as he gets his minutes, he does pretty good. I know the game log doesn't look the best, 16, 16, 19, but this 33, this is what we got a lot last year from him. And, I think the problem is now they have Millsap. He's not getting as many rebounds. He's staying a little bit more on the perimeter. But 4.5K, I think that's a very fair price from him. We need about 22 for value. And I think in an up-tempo game, he could get a couple extra shots against the Warriors. And I think he's a solid value play at small forward. Next, we'll move on to power forward. I mean, this guy, clearly the best option on the slate. There's no questioning it. 60, 55, 61, 62. The guy's a beast. Plain and simple. At 11.8K, we need about 58 from him. And I could definitely see him getting there. In this matchup against Chicago, they have nobody that could really guard him. The only problem on this slate is there's so many good spots. We're gonna have to pick and choose what studs we're gonna go after. But Anthony Davis is the clear top option. We'll move down a little bit. Draymond Green. We know this guy. He fills up the stat sheet. Plain and simple. In an up-tempo game against Denver, I really like him in this spot. For him to hit value, we're looking at about 38. And he's been around that mark. He had a couple kind of off games right here. This game he got ejected. Otherwise he would have got there. But 33, 43, 40, 38. I feel comfortable with him tomorrow on this small slate. Paul Millsap going against the Warriors on the opposite side. He's been really picking it up. His price has been rising a little bit, but he's still a little bit too cheap for what he's been doing. His value is he needs 36 to get value, and he's got really close to that in the last 5 games. He went off today for 50 against Miami, 36, 34, 43, 33. I like him tomorrow as a cash game play. I think he's a very solid play. On the cheaper end, don't say I'm crazy, but yes, Dirk. I know the guy's not playing that many minutes. I understand that. But he's still doing stuff with the minutes that he gets. At a 5.1 salary, we need 26 from him. He's got 26 in the last 5. He's got it 2 out of the last 5, but he has a 24 and a 24 on a 5.1 salary. I would definitely take these 23s. And he had an off game against Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, which makes sense. The old man, he doesn't want to get beat up down low. He probably stood outside and tried to take shots, but I think he's a solid value play. Move on to the last position. DeMarcus Cousins, easily the top option. This guy is a beast, okay? I don't know how him and Davis are doing it together, but they are just beasting together. Both of them, 50 to 60 fantasy points almost every night. If you could fit Davis in your lineup, I mean, he's the top clear play. I think he has a little bit more tougher matchup than Davis because he's going to be going against Robin Lopez. But I mean, Robin Lopez is nothing compared to Cousins. I think he's going to put up another monster game tomorrow. We'll move on down the words a little bit, save a little bit money. Andre Drummond. I think this guy's going to have a solid game. He's going against Sacramento. They don't have a real big man that can kind of guard him, and he's just been putting up massive points. 51 tonight, a couple games ago. A little bit off game against the Lakers. Still got 34, 48, 49, 43, 46. So his price is rising. But you're saving $2,600 from Cousins, and I think he could be a solid cash game play. And a cheap guy on the lower end, I like Lopez. This guy, he's been doing a lot for his team. 6.1K, we need about 32 from him. And he's putting up solid points. 26, 35, 22, 36. He kind of had an off game. 34, 33. The problem for him is he going to get in foul trouble against Boogie Cousins? But if not, they're going to need to play him a lot. They need the size on the floor. And the coach has shown that he will play him, 30, 33, 36 minutes. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Small slate. I think honestly, there's not going to be too much value out there on this slate, and I think you're going to have to go more of a little bit more balanced lineup. But I think definitely we could be profitable on this slate. So let's get it tomorrow, and please, if you don't mind, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button below. Click the like button on our video, and please help us out. And hey, let's get it tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Take care.